In his 1890 story Kreutzer Sonata, Russian writer Leo Tolstoy presents a character who kills his wife because she cheated on him with her music teacher. Typical Tolstoy. This music teacher and main character's wife were rehearsing Kreutzer Sonata by Beethoven. And it is not a coincidence that Tolstoy chooses Beethoven's music in a story about adultery, passions, and bad marriage. See, Tolstoy did not like Beethoven, he also did not like Wagner. Composers like them make very powerful, emotional, well-measured, but also passionate music. In his book, What is Art?, Tolstoy claims that such music can morally corrupt young people and lead to depravity. So Tolstoy basically claims that Wagner's operas are euphorias of 19th century or whatever. Tolstoy, and it is clear from his novels, is what we call a moralist of art. He claimed that art should always be subordinated to morals. So if a wife cheats, she dies. I do not agree with Tolstoy's moralistic view on art. That is why the main character of today's video is not Tolstoy, but the 19th century German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, who had a lot to say about art and morality. Nietzsche was and still is probably one of the most controversial philosophers of all time. A genius, a very talented philologist who became a professor at the age of 24, and also he was a chronically ill man with tragic, lonely life. And Nietzsche's ideas were distorted and appropriated by fascist and Nazi Germany. So we have an interesting philosopher today, aren't we? In 1872, Nietzsche published his first book, The Birth of Tragedy, From the Spirit of Music. This book was primarily inspired by Nietzsche's friendship with German composer Richard Wagner, who created a number of tragic operas. Also in this book, Nietzsche argues against views of another German philosopher, Arthur Schopenhauer. Schopenhauer was a pessimist who claimed that human nature is dark, vicious, and desires make us suffer, and that tragedy as an art form can teach us about this inevitable suffering, because ancient Greek tragedy never provided us with reasons why we suffer. It just presented tragic stories without moralism. Schopenhauer claimed that this makes ancient Greek tragedy inferior to more contemporary works of tragic art. Nietzsche did not agree with that. Nietzsche praises ancient Greek tragedy for its ability to present harsh, violent, tragic events in aesthetically pleasing manner without moralization. To do so, Greek tragedy and any good art uses two contradicting artistic drives, Apollonian and Dionysian. Apollonian artistic drive is named after Apollo, an ancient Greek god of beauty, order, rational thinking, and purity. While Dionysian stands for Dionysus, who was god of wine, dance, irrationality, chaos, and passion. Nietzsche claimed that in modern times art becomes more and more Apollonian, rational, calculated, moralistic, which is not a sign of a healthy culture, since we need Dionysian freedom to fully experience the magical and healing powers of art. By wandering through forbidden, we can transform our existential anxiety into something sublime. So Dionysian and Apollonian should collaborate in a dialectical manner. Throughout centuries, this mixture of two artistic drives that is so emotionally arousing and attractive was considered as dangerous. This is exactly what Tolstoy was so afraid of, and even nowadays media outlets claim that art can inspire people to commit crimes. But what Nietzsche was trying to point out was that art that presents morally challenging situations in appealing manner helps us to sublimate pessimistic view on life if we stop viewing art through moralistic lenses. Moral ambiguity is a necessary and integral part of art, and if art inspires us to do immoral things, it tells more about us than it tells about art. Nietzsche even goes further by claiming that our existence should become an artistic endeavor. To live one's life as an art means to view your life with tragic irony of ancient Greeks. That's all for now. 再见.